welcome to Talk Uncensored. I'm your host, April Hogan. Thank you guys for tuning in. So I know it's been a little minute since I've done a show. I took a little hiatus just based on the fact that I've had a lot going on, you guys. Not bad, more of just busy, productive busy, okay? So I actually have the pleasure today of having two guests on. So my first guest I'm going to have is from a book that I'm co-authoring in called The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness Anthology by Nadia Monsanto. So I get the pleasure of having Her Excellency, Dr. Theresa A. Moseley on. So she's going to come up first. First, I want to read a little bit about her and give you guys some information of the greatness that's getting ready to give you an interview, okay? So Her Excellency, Dr. Theresa A. Moseley is the owner and chief executive officer of TAM, Creating Ambassadors of Peace, LLC. Her company provides inspirational and motivational speeches to groups looking for ways to resolve conflicts in the community, schools, and other organizations wanting to create a peaceful climate and culture. She also provides professional development on transformational leadership. As a published author, she writes positive messages in her books about peace, love, hope, and purpose. She uses her life experiences to address thought-provoking questions about finding one's purpose in life, finding your authentic self, and creating peace in the world. Her Excellency, Dr. Theresa A. Moseley is a United Nations Peace Ambassador, United States Army veteran, international motivational speaker, 4 times best-selling author, 14 times best-selling author, 3 times international best-selling author, and 3 times award-winning educator, and a retired educator after 28 years of service. Dr. Moseley has been featured in several magazines, including the cover of International Face magazine. She has been featured in over 300 news articles worldwide, including CXO Outlook, CEO Weekly, and Voyage ATL. Dr. Moseley was a recipient of the President Joseph Biden Lifetime Achievement Award. Woo! So, after these messages, I am going to get the pleasure of bringing on Her Excellency, Dr. Theresa A. Moseley, so you guys can get a little bit more of all of that, right? That is great. After Dr. Moseley, we're going to get the pleasure of having a friend of mine. His name is Eugene Sopher, the owner and the visionary of The Bear That Cares. So, I'm going to put you on a brief break. I'll be right back, and we have a whole lot getting ready to happen. I'll see you after these messages.
The Empower Your Journey Business and Tech Tour is coming to Huntsville, Alabama, April 27th, 2024. This professional event brings together experts and professionals in the business and tech industries to engage in workshops and networking while gaining insight from our keynote speakers and panelists. Come enjoy the event of the year as we focus on knowledge exchange and skill development. Interested in being a part of this event? We are seeking sponsors, panelists, vendors, and volunteers. Find out more by visiting us online at empoweryourjourneytour.com.
Welcome back to Talk Uncensored. And again, I'm your host, April Hogan. So we are blessed with the presence of Her Excellency, Dr. Theresa A. Moseley. How are you doing today, Doctor?
I'm doing great, thank you. Very pleased to be here.
Awesome. We are excited to have you here and learn more about your story. So prior to you coming on, I had the opportunity to kind of read your biography and let all of our viewers know a little bit more about you. But what I would love to do is give you the opportunity to kind of give an introduction of yourself. Tell the viewers a little bit more about you.
Well, I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, a little country girl with a big heart. I joined the military after high school. My guidance counselor was so upset with me. You have a 3.9 grade point average and you're joining the Army. But that was the beginning of everything that I do. I have leadership skills. I'm a retired administrator, school leader, school principal. I'm an author of now 19 books, 24 by this April. I am an international motivational speaker. I just spoke at the Women of Heart Awards in London, and I'm going back to London January 2024 to speak at a women empowerment conference. I'm a transformational leader. I'm a United Nations Peace Ambassador, and my whole being is to make this world a more peaceful place. I learned early on that my gift was my voice, my passion was serving others, and my purpose is really to make this world a more peaceful place. And I think when people do that, they'll be successful, fulfilled, prosperous, and have inner peace.
Absolutely. I love it. So when reading your bio, so I'm also an Army veteran.
Wow.
So thank you for your service. I'll say that
And
first.
thank you for your service.
Right. Absolutely. So what did you do in the Army? Just out of curiosity.
I was a movement specialist in the beginning, and then they found out that I was smart, so they moved me to military intelligence. Okay. So I worked at Sinop, Turkey on my first overseas assignment in military intelligence.
Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you for your service. I got a chance to read all of these great things you have going on, right? So between the United Nations Peace Ambassador, to not only speaking here nationally, but speaking internationally as a motivational speaker, 14-time best-selling author, times international best-selling author, 3-time award-winning educator. I mean, you are busy, but productive busy. So first, I guess I would love to kind of know, what is your motivation behind it all? Like, what is it that kind of just keeps you going?
My father, who is deceased, my father was my best friend. And the last day I saw him alive was my graduation day from college, from my first degree. And my father had terminal lung cancer. And when I gave him my diploma, he said, "Theresa," he said, "this is worth millions. Go take this diploma and go live in your purpose." And no one had ever said that to me. My father had an 8th grade education, but the wisdom of a sage. And he died 6 months later, and I was broken. I mean, I really crashed. I was on the floor crying, and I wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep, wouldn't work. And then one day, this voice from within me said, "Theresa, get up. I'm still with you. Now go live in your purpose." I got scared. I said, "Oh, wow." That was either the voice of God or the voice of my dad, letting him know he's still with me. From that day forward, I did everything I was supposed to do. I started living in my purpose. I realized that I was successful, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't fulfilled until I started serving other people. But my father is my motivation. Even though he's not with me, he's with me in spirit. And everything I do in his name.
Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. First of all, sorry for your loss, but I absolutely love that you use that as motivation. And I think that's important to hear, especially hearing all of the successes that you've had just thus far. I know there's so many more coming, but hearing all the successes you've had thus far, knowing that even you took what you went through and you allowed that to push you into your purpose and what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So for all of those who were listening earlier, we actually have a book that we are working on together as co-authors. And the book is called The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness Anthology by Nadia Manzano. So while we're kind of talking about this, we'll go into this book in a little bit, but I know you have another book project coming up. Would you like to tell us about that book project?
Yes, I have the Essential Soft Skills for Effective Leadership, Steps to Leading with Grace. And as we said before, I'm a United Nations Peace Ambassador, and I was in training in Geneva, Switzerland. And I was on a boat, and I met this guy, and he says, "You look familiar." I said, "Well, maybe you've seen me on social media." He said, "No, it's not social media. You look familiar." And so he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Dr. Theresa." He said, "Dr. Theresa Moseley?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "I met a corporate guy in Florida, and he said that you were going to come help his company with soft skills." And I said, "Oh my goodness, I did meet someone who said he needed training for soft skills." And I said, "If I'm going to train your company, I need to write the book." So that was validation for me that a whole month and a half later in another country that I meet someone that had a conversation with the person that I'm going to be training. And so that's how this book came about. And I decided I could write this book myself, but let me get the experts. So I've got 22 people that are experts in communication, adaptability, problem solving, time management, integrity to help me write this book. And I'm so excited about this project because I truly believe that when leaders build their teams and lead with grace, that there's peace in the climate. And when there's peace in the climate, when the climate is positive, there's peace in the environment. When there's peace in the environment, there's peace in the world. And everybody knows that's what I'm all about, making the world a more peaceful place.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love the concept of leadership. So I work in leadership both at my 9 to 5 and in my actual company as a Scrum Master. So I understand it is extremely important. So tell me, when can we expect to see this book? Like, when is it coming out?
Pre-sales are coming out in January. Make sure to follow me on social media because I have a book trailer coming out next week, but it's going to launch, hear it, on my father's 104th heavenly birthday, March 3rd, 2024. Once again, everything I do is in the name of my father, an airborne ranger who was the epitome of a man with soft skills, a leader with soft skills.
Awesome, awesome. So you said airborne ranger, so he was military as well?
Yes,
oh,
Army.
Wow. Okay. So is that what kind of inspires you to go in?
I'm a dad girl. I wanted to be just like my father.
I'm a dad girl too. So I absolutely understand. So while we're talking about this as well, tell me some of the, it's good to hear about all the great things, right? But we all know that there are challenges that we face when we're going through whatever our journey is. Like, it's never just easy. Like, that's never the trajectory. It's never just easy. So tell me some of the challenges you faced in your rise to success.
Oh, wow. There have been so many that I had to write the book, Passion, Purpose, Peace, The Pathway Through Trials and Tribulations. Mm-hmm. So when I'd always been a military brat, a military veteran, a military dependent, right? So when I got out of the military, I didn't know what it was like to be a civilian. And so what I did is I depended on roommates and having friends to stay with and so forth. And I wasn't really guided into my divine assignment or purpose at that time. So actually, my father got sick. I went to North Carolina. When I came back, my roommate left. My roommate left with all my stuff, and I was homeless for 3 days. Like, I rode a city bus the first day all day long. And, I was born in the church. I started praying to God, please help me. And so I found myself praying outside of this restaurant. I was hungry. I had $50 to my name. This was in 1981. I'll never forget it. And I prayed to God, if you let me get out of this situation, I promise I'll help somebody else that's homeless or in a bad situation. Please tell me what to do. And when I opened my eyes, I saw a church, the Crystal Palace Cathedral, Robert Schuler's church in Orange County, California, and I saw a club. So I saw the church and I saw a club. I went to the club with my suitcase. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. And there was a guy watching me and he says, "You're in a crisis. Come step outside in this lobby." And he stepped outside and I said, "My father is sick. He's got emphysema and my roommate moved and she took all my stuff. I don't have a place to stay." And I rode a city bus all day and I ended up at Leisure World, which I thought was an amusement park at the time. Okay. He said, "Listen, it's Reaganomics. There's people living in tent cities. I can't allow you just to like sit at this bar drinking Pepsi all night. I've got a place where you can stay." I said, "Hold up, stop. I'm not going to go stay with some strange person that I don't know." And then I thought, well, God did say go to the club, right? So I called one of my friends. I said, "Listen, I'm in California. This is the number. This is the place where I'm at." So he gave me his business card. So I shared where I was going to be. And I stayed there for 3 days. And those 3 days I prayed and I listened to my heart. And then I figured out what I needed to do. I figured it out. I re-enlisted. When I re-enlisted, I saved my money. And when I got out the second time, I had my own place to stay. I had my own money. I went to school. And then what the lesson that I learned through that trial was you have to always have a blueprint. You have to always have a plan. Depend on yourself. Don't depend on anybody else to make things happen for you. Mm-hmm. So that one lesson that I learned, I actually share that with my students when I was a principal. I shared that with people who are struggling, that there is a light at the tunnel. I'm also, I have been a victim. I am no longer a victim, by the way. I was assaulted when I was in college, and I had to stay at a shelter for battered women for 30 days. But listen, I said, "God, why is this happening to me? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. Why are all these things happening to me?" And then I realized, like, this is like 40 years later, I received a letter, a note, and an email from a girl, a little girl that was in that shelter for battered women. And she told me that I changed her life. She said, you were the only one there. You had a job. You were in school. You weren't abused by a husband or a boyfriend. You had a stalker, but you helped my mother, you helped my mother. You helped me understand that I could be anything I want to be because you were doing it as a single parent. And so I said, so I go through these trials and tribulations to learn lessons to share with the world.
Right.
That girl, it took her 40 years to find me, but she found me and thanked me. And now she's living a healthy life,
Absolutely.
So I've had a lot of trials and tribulations. And I remember one time I got mugged, but he mugged the wrong person because I ran track in the Army. I got up and I ran after him. I grabbed him by his shoulder. He wiggled out of his jacket, and there was his paycheck stub, 2 of them with his address and name on it. But a police officer saw me, and he actually tackled him in his scooter, and he actually went to jail for what he did to me. But here's the lesson that I learned. I have the gift of intuition, and I saw him watching me at that ATM. He knew I had money because I was just going to the ATM. It was Easter Friday, Good Friday. And I was going to go see my dad. This was like 1987, right? And I heard his footsteps behind me. So I kind of knew that I was going to be attacked, but I was ready. And since then, I have not been anybody's victim. Don't play with me.
Wow. Oh, goodness. So definitely you have testimonies. Testimonies. I couldn't imagine so first of all, you made a good point earlier. You said something about a lot of people do that. Well, why me? I do this, I pay my tithes, I go to church, but you learn as you go and as you grow that anything you go through is generally never for you. It's always for somebody else. And
Yes.
40 years later, somebody else came back and said thank you. And that has to be so empowering.
Yes.
So empowering. So tell me, go ahead.
I have to share with you that as a high school principal, one of the things that drives me is I lost 2 students to violence. One kid was shot to death. Another kid was beat to death in a park.
Oh, wow.
And when that happened, that totally changed almost everything that I did. I said, I really have to create a movement for peace. So I started a campaign for no more violence, one school, one community, one county at a time. The next year, one city, one state, one nation at a time. And I still felt like I needed to do more. This is also part of my motivation, by the way. I feel like I need to share this with you. And so I went to a class, this master's class, and the teacher said, there are 2 days that are important. This is the Mark Twain quote: the day you were born and the day you find out why. And that day I said out loud that my gift is my voice in speaking and writing. My passion, I serve people in the military. I serve my church. I serve my students and community. My passion is serving others.
Right.
But my purpose is to make this world a more peaceful place. And that's when I went from 1 book to 10 books to 15 books. So that's when everything changed for me.
I love that. So how would you define success?
I define success when you find out what your gift is and you use it to serve other people. I believe in that Ikigai philosophy around purpose. If there's something that the world needs and you're good at it, then that's your mission in life. Absolutely. If you really love to do something, then that's your purpose. But if you get paid for your 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, that's your passion. But if you get paid from your 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, that is your purpose. When all of those things line up and you serve other people, that's when you're successful. That's when you're fulfilled. That's when you can make a difference in the world. Your gift is not about you. It's about serving other people with that gift.
Absolutely. I love the fact that everything that you keep saying aligns with everything that we see in these awards: the peace, the togetherness, purpose, peace. Like, it's all together. Like, everything that you say exemplifies everything that's written in this biography, and I absolutely love that. So let's go into the beautiful face of the invisible illness real quick. So, of course, this book is getting ready to launch. The writing process, I believe is over now. I think we're still kind of in editing, but our initial writing is completely over right now. Tell me about, or tell everyone about what to expect from your chapter in this book.
Yes. So I was so excited when I heard Nadia was doing this book because I do have an invisible illness. It's called diabetes. I have other illnesses too, but not talking about them in this particular book. That's for another text.
Okay.
But I'm lucky and blessed to have seen 5 generations. I saw my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, me, and my daughter, right? And the one thing that we all have in common, minus my daughter, is diabetes.
Okay.
And when I did a search on Ancestry, I found my great great grandfather's death certificate. He died of bad kidneys. Bad kidneys, diabetes.
Okay.
And so I write about what we need to do to, it's not a death sentence, what we need to do to be more healthier. I write about steps that you can take in terms of diet, exercise, medication, meditation, to keep your numbers in check. You have to know your A1C. You have to know your blood pressure. You have to know your cholesterol. I'm living with type 2 diabetes, but my numbers are really good. You know, I have lost a brother to diabetes. I've lost my mother to diabetes. I have 2 brothers right now that are, one on dialysis and one's about to go on dialysis. So I want to break that generational, I'm not going to call it a curse, but this generational cycle of us having diabetes and dying before we're 70. Okay. So that's what I write about.
So when did you find out that you had diabetes?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because I had my last child, I had type 2 diabetes, gestational diabetes. And the doctor said, you have this because you're carrying this big baby, right? And when you have the baby, it'll probably go back to normal, your numbers. But more than likely, there's over a 50% chance that you'll develop diabetes, type 2 diabetes later on in life. But if you stay on this exercise program, if you stay on this diet, maybe, you can scale it off for a few years. So that was like 30 years ago. And then in 2013, when I received my job as a high school principal, 4 months later, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I really believe it was due to stress.
Okay.
High school principal is a very stressful job. My doctor called me and said, Dr. Theresa, I need to see you right away. I said, okay, what's wrong? She goes, no, come see me. And so when I went to her, she says, your A1C is like 9.2. I said, what? And so she put me on a regimen, exercise, diet. I saw a dietitian. But I truly believe that work-related stress brought that on. Okay. But once again, I'm doing very well now. That was 2013. It's 2023. And I'm doing extremely well managing my numbers.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So my children's father actually has type 2 diabetes as well. He's newly diagnosed. So we found a couple of signs, like as far as like when we can tell he's just not doing well. So I remember one day we were on the phone and everything he said was confusing. Like I couldn't make out what he was saying. Anything I'd ask him, he was confused. What are some signs that people can look out for when there's a possibility that this, whether it's someone that they already know has it and a family member just needs to be looking for signs that something's wrong, or someone who may not know that they have it, that they need to be paying attention to signs?
If you're constantly going to the bathroom, that you can't even make it because you're just going to the bathroom, you have to urinate, that's a sign. You know, that happened to my brother, that happened to actually my mother as well. Also, your vision. If you have a keen change in your vision sight, and that was my key. Like all of a sudden, I was like seeing crazy. That's a sign. You know, those are the 2 main things. Having the constant, and also being thirsty and having a dry mouth. That's a sign. Your vision changing. That's a sign. Yeah.
Okay. So then in the sense of like someone who is living with type 2 diabetes.
Oh, one more thing. The metallic taste in your mouth. I had a metallic taste in my mouth too. And the doctor said that was a sign you had type 2 diabetes.
Okay. So of course, everyone needs to be making sure that they're paying attention to the signs, whether it's something that you don't have or that you don't know that you have, or if you know someone in your family that has it. Because of course, if you can catch it, that something's wrong earlier ahead, then you got more chances of being able to fix whatever's going on. So then in the sense of living a healthy lifestyle with type 2 diabetes, what type of tips would you give?
Your diet. Don't have an extreme diet. Have a certain amount of protein. Always have protein with your meals. Have a certain amount of carb, but limit your carbs and have more fruits and vegetables. I would say half your plate should be vegetables and fruit, and then a small portion for carbs and a small portion for protein. Um, your protein shouldn't be larger than your hand. Try to stay away from the carbs, but you actually need carbs as well. And so, if a well-balanced diet is better than just an extreme diet, or just taking some of those drinks that people say, "Oh, just take this drink." No, 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 no. They are loaded with sugar. Just have a well-balanced diet. And I recommend 3 small meals. That's what I do. I'm 65 years old. I was diagnosed. Yes, I'm 60. I'll be 66 in February.
Oh my goodness, you look good.
Thank you. I was diagnosed at 55.
Okay.
And the one thing that was consistent is I eat small meals and I try to stay away from just sweet stuff.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to kind of circle around to the writing. And the reason why I want to do that is because I see a lot of books. I will say that writing in general is a form of therapy, right? So I always try to advise people if you are struggling or you need to get something out and maybe you don't have someone to talk to, write your story, write who you are, teach your freshman class, right? So I'm interested in knowing what got you into writing to the extent that you're into writing.
Your questions are so amazing. So one of my gifts is I have the gift of intuition. I kind of know things that I shouldn't know. And I can talk about this now because I've actually healed from it. In 1972, my brother died in a car accident, his graduation night from high school.
Oh, wow.
I dreamt about it before it happened and didn't tell him. So I thought it was my fault. I said, oh my God. I mean, I really went into some depression and I just, I wanted to die. I said, God, just let me go be with my brother because I should have told him. I even knew specific details. Like my mother got him a digital watch. And when she bought it, I cried and she thought I was jealous. I said, what do you mean I'm jealous? I'm not jealous. She said, why are you crying? Because I knew he wouldn't keep that watch on him a week. And when they retrieved the body from the car, the watch was missing. The only thing that was left was the crushed case. So here's the thing. I went to sleep that night and I always pray before I sleep. And I said, God, please give me some guidance. Forgive me for not sharing this with my brother. Please tell me what I can do to heal. God said, right. This was a spirit. This was not an audible, Theresa, right. But inside of me, something told me that you need to write what you're feeling. So I wrote the next morning a 6-page letter to my favorite teacher, Cal Kuntz, who pitched for the New York Mets in 1969. He was a professional baseball player who retired early because of an elbow injury. Now they have Tommy John. I'm telling you this because this is how the world works. I knew he would listen to me. I knew he would read my letter. But if he wasn't my science teacher, I might not be here right now. Mm-hmm. But I had someone that I could go to. And I was too scared to tell my mother and father about what happened, about my dreams. When I wrote that letter, I felt better. Mm-hmm. Writing was cathartic. Yes. And I said, oh my goodness, like I don't even have to give Cal Kuntz this letter because I feel so much better because I wrote the letter. And then I put the letter under my mattress. And so that's when I found out that writing was cathartic. And I started actually writing poetry and writing songs. And so, yeah.
Absolutely. And I've seen you said a total of 19 books right now.
Yes.
And 24.
Be 23 in April.
23 in April.
So I have The Essential Soft Skills, my anthology. I have The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness. I have Destiny Expose with Dr. Marcia. Okay. And I have one more. Follow the Process, Reap the Harvest.
Okay, awesome. So I know that one of the biggest things, even as a business coach, that people tell me when it comes to writing is finding the time. So tell me how you discipline yourself, because 19, almost 23 books is a lot of discipline. So how do you discipline yourself to
see behind me all my books? I read at least 2 to 3 books a week, number one.
Okay.
And I normally read on Sunday afternoon after church. but I write every Saturday morning. I'm writing something. Either I'm working on a book or I'm journaling something or I'm organizing. Also on Sundays, I have this time management thing where I go back and look at my goals for the week and check off everything that I did and see what I didn't do to see what I need to do to adjust.
Right.
And so I felt so good this week. I could sit back and watch Christmas movies because I finished 2 books. So, yes.
Absolutely.
So, those potential writers, make sure that you set a time during the day, the weekend, to read and to write. That's so important.
And it goes back to what you said at the beginning. When the beginning of the interview, you were talked about having a plan, making sure, you need to have a plan. And then you went back to it just now where you talked about, hey, like I have a list, and then I go back and I look at what do I need to adjust? What worked well? Like that's extremely important. And not that there's nothing against, people who are just kind of like fly by the day. It's just it's a lot harder to get your things accomplished without setting your plan and setting your goals and then being able to analyze, did it work?
That's my military training. I'm organized.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody has a freshman class. And when I say a freshman class, when you have the people who are below you in terms of your career, right? So what would you say to those people coming up after you that would help them push towards whatever's next in their life or in their career, whether it be as a writer or as a motivational speaker or just following their purpose altogether?
Oh, such a great question. The first 5 things. The first thing is know who you are. Just if you don't discover who you are, right? Some people are who their aunt want them to be, who the mother wants them to be. No, be yourself. Be your authentic self. And once you know who you are, recognize what you love to do. I'm telling you, I played with Barbie dolls for a long time till I was 16. I had 40. I lined them up like on an airplane in 2 rows. Then I worked for the airlines for 5 years. Then I lined them up as a school class with 4 rows of 10. I was a teacher and administrator. Right. I love doing those things, right? Know what you love to do. Once you discover what you love to do and you're your authentic self, develop a blueprint for whatever it is that you want to do. If it's writing a book, there's a blueprint for that. If it's starting your business, there's a blueprint for that. Once you develop that blueprint, you have to have a monitoring system. You have to have short-term goals, long-term goals, professional goals, personal goals, and find an accountability partner. That's where coaching comes in. Find someone to say, listen, what you want to do, somebody's already done. Right. So, if you're lonely at the top, it's a problem. Find someone to help you. And then the last step is network. Go to conferences, join podcasts, join clubhouse. Find people with like minds. Be around people who celebrate you, not ones that knock you down. If you're around somebody say, oh, honey, you can never do that. That's not your friend. That's not a person that you should be around. Absolutely. Know yourself, self-discovery, know what you love to do, develop a blueprint, have a monitoring system put in place to hold yourself accountable, and network with like minds.
I love it. I love it. So I would love everyone to know, and I'm going to actually have it at the bottom of the screen. Tell everyone where they can find you. Where can they find your books, website, social media? How can they find Dr. Theresa?
You have one-stop shopping. And in fact, I'm launching my new website, but it's the same name on December the 5th. creatingambassadorsofpeace.com, all small letters. On my website, I have a homepage where you can contact me for, you can get a 30-minute free session with me. The next page is my bookstore where I have my 19 books and also my upcoming books that you can purchase for pre-sales. I have a media page that tells you what I'm doing next. Like I said, I'm going to London to speak in January 27th, what I've done in the past. I also have an apparel store where you can purchase hoodies that say Creating Ambassadors of Peace and T-shirts with love, peace, and hope and handbags and so forth. And so I also have a link to all of my social media sites, X, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Speaker Hub. So once you go to my website, creatingambassadorsofpeace.com, everything is there for you. I also have a professional development page. If there's a company that wants me to come in to train their staff on how to have a more positive climate, or a school that wants me to come in to work with their students or their teachers on creating a positive climate. I also have my creed that I wrote, 16 steps to become an ambassador of peace. I talk about communicate, don't retaliate, attack the problem, not the person, have compassion and empathy for others, love your community and serve them well, know your gift, know your passion, and live in your purpose. And that's free. You can download that on my website.
Love
It's all there.
You are definitely military. I hear it in everything that you say. I hear it in everything that you say. It has been such a pleasure having you on to talk about everything that you've done and everything that you're doing. So I want to thank you again, Dr. Theresa Moseley, for coming on Talk Uncensored. And I look forward to actually myself getting an opportunity to read what you have coming, not only with the book that we have coming out together, but even I definitely want to look at that leadership book. Yes. Again, that's my everyday. So I definitely want to get a copy of your leadership book.
I have one last word for your audience. I always leave at the end of my speeches and at the end of my podcast, and that's my original quote, and that's: life is but a short road to our ultimate destiny. Make peace, have compassion, and learn to love before you get there. Peace and blessings.
I love it. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing everything that you have coming up. All right, you guys. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Tune in to Talk Uncensored every other Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube/Talk Uncensored. See you there.
Talk Uncensored. You know me, your host, April Hogan. I told you guys before we went to break that I was getting ready to have a special guest on today. So, and not only is this a special guest, I say this is my friend. So this is Mr. Eugene Sopher Jr. He is the visionary behind The Bear That Cares. All right. So how you doing today, Eugene?
I'm doing good, April. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good. You know, maintaining. It's Christmas time, so my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, I hear you. I hate this time of the season. I really pray broke on this time, but hey, it's all good. You know.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. All right. So what I would like to do first is I'd love you to take the opportunity to introduce yourself to our viewers. Tell them about Eugene Sopher Jr.
Okay. Well, my name is Eugene Sopher Jr. Born Cleveland, Ohio, old school street general. I deal with mental health issues ever since I was born. I got that from my father. He was blessed enough to leave me that when he died, you know. Pretty much I grew up my whole life, you know, like any other black person out here, black young man out here, you know, being scared and, you know, learning as I go and, you know, later on in life, learned how to appreciate women, black women at that. And I guess as time went on, and I decided I ended up, one day I woke up old. So I decided, well, I might as well do something with myself, positive, because I've been living negative all this time. And hey, so I decided to come up with the coloring book, The Bear That Cares. And I was trying to do it for some years. But everybody around me, you know, my loved ones and friends and families, you know, they wasn't supporting me. They ain't want nothing to do with me. And I was blessed enough to meet my partner here, Ms. April Hogan, that brought my dreams to reality. So now, thanks to her helping me out, my vision of, I guess, helping out the community and doing my part is now real.
Awesome. So we talk about the Bear That Cares. So here is the Bear That Cares coloring book. This is just one of the many products that feature the Bear That Cares. He's actually drinking out of a Bear That Cares cup right now. You want to show him?
Yes. This is the Bear That Cares. And I'm drinking on
calendar.
I'm drinking on my bootleg 8,000.
Oh, okay.
Nerds.
Okay.
And the calendar is right behind me.
Okay, good. I was like, I was about to say, I don't know why I didn't grab one, but there we go. Bear That Cares calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a board game, Bear That Cares board game as well.
Yes.
Bear That Cares t-shirts, Bear That Cares hats, like Bear That Cares. So while we're talking about Bear That Cares, his name is Junior. All right, so I'll say that first of all. He's Junior. Right. Tell us about Junior and Junior's mission.
Okay, so Junior basically is a little bear that's put on the pole, and his mission is to go into the head of the household, which normally is ran by the grandmother, and his mission is to not go back on the pole. So he does everything possible to not get back on the pole, meaning he stops people from doing drugs, from people want to commit suicide, things that got a chokehold on the Black community. I touch on that. Little Junior is the one that goes around, and he's basically the one in everybody's face trying to be that little voice of reasoning. You know what I'm saying? So I had him to do it instead of having some old man like myself coming around. You know, ain't gonna listen to me. So.
So you're the voice. So he's the voice of the prevention of violence. So when you say on a pole, what puts him on the pole?
Oh, okay. Now, when I say a pole, I'm not talking about the shake 'em up pole or whatever. But all right, I'm talking about the telephone pole. See, normally in the neighborhoods, when a child is killed senseless over gun violence or anything just senseless, they usually put teddy bears on the pole. Well, in my city and every city that I pretty much went to, I would see these teddy bears on a pole, and it would just kill me. You know what I'm saying? It would mess with my anxiety and all kind of depression within me. So I would go around trying to talk to people, but I look like the people they don't respect. I look like an old Black man. So I didn't know how to really talk to them, just as I am. So I came up with the cartoon concept. And that's a better way for me to be able to talk to people. And, it's better to see a cartoon saying, hey, you ain't shit, than having a grown man saying, hey, you better do this. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that
So
came
Junior
out.
Doesn't say you're not shit, you guys. So just.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot the grandbabies watching.
No, it's okay. So Junior is actually a positive influence.
Yes, he is.
Stop you from doing the things that you don't need to be doing in order to live a more successful life. Free of violence, right? So the whole goal is to stop the violence, right? Because we have a lot of it, and we have too much of it. We have too much violence in all neighborhoods, but especially in our underdeveloped neighborhoods or our Black neighborhoods. So that's his goal. So
that's a real, hey, you know what? And that's a real professional way of saying a real po-ass neighborhood. You're real nice saying that. But real talk though, my thing is this. See, Junior, he's PG-13. Yeah. But the thing is that he touches on everything that has a chokehold on the Black community. Right. Like when you get pulled on by the police. Instead of trying to, fight the power and and be Martin Luther King, have your license, have your insurance. Simple stuff. This is a manual so people can survive in the hood instead of trying to be all loud and talking about, hey, I don't, because it's real out here, y'all. The news. I don't know about you, but it seems like the news needs to be on pay-per-view.
Okay. And the lovely thing about Junior is he does it in a way that is entertaining. So it's not just read it in a book and fall asleep. He reads it. He does it in a very entertaining way. So you'll see a lot of different illustrations. So with that being said, let's talk about mental health a little bit. So Eugene is an advocate for mental health in terms of taking care of your mental health, right? So tell me your outlook in terms of the importance of maintaining a healthy mental health?
It's everything. Your body is meant to just carry your brain. And if you messed up mentally, you can chalk it. I don't care what it is you do. I don't care how strong you are, how beautiful you are, whatever it is. If your mental is gone, it's over with. And it's real important that we take time out for our mental health. You know what I'm saying? We got to take time to love ourselves. Right. You know, it's so much stuff out there that's killing us. You know what I'm saying? That we got to take time to take care of ourselves. If you got a family, if you got loved ones, if you got a job, if you got anything that people expect you to be you, well, you got to take time for a second to go, hold on, let me check myself, make sure my shit right. And then when I get good, then I can be the superhero I am. You dig what I'm saying? So mental health is real important, because I'm going to tell you something. You get your ass whooped physically, but you can heal. But if somebody beats you mentally,
it's a lot harder.
It's over.
You can heal, but it's a lot harder. Absolutely.
A lot harder. And I also touch on that everybody deal with mental health. Everybody. See, a lot of people think because you deal with mental health that you're crazy. Or your mental health, you know, something wrong with you. No, everybody got mental health. Just like you got your body health and everything, same thing. And I try to touch on that. You know, everyone has their own different mental health. You understand what I'm saying? I try to touch on, you know, men, their mental health, you know, because men go through a certain thing. Women, Lord have mercy, I got to salute y'all. I think all y'all go through that mental health shit. I'm, and there's no disrespect, but I'm just saying, like, women, like a woman of color, really. So I basically try to just have everybody take a moment. You know, it's only 24 hours in a day, but you gotta find some time out within the day to love yourself, to take care of yourself.
Yes, it's important because you can't take care of anyone else if you're not taken care of. I mean, you can try, but you know, at the end of the day, it won't be successful if you're not good. You can't be the strength for anybody else either. So you got to be the strength for you first. That's why even on an airplane, they say put on your mask first before trying to put on the mask for somebody else. Because how do I put on his mask if I'm passed out, right? On, then help them, right? So it is. It's extremely important to make sure you take care of number one. I think what happened is people got to a point that, oh, it's selfish. It's not selfish. You take care of yourself.
You know, I think like when I tell people to use me in the right way, I think the word use been misused so much that people don't want to be used, people don't want to feel bad, and people still remembering the last motherfucker that hurt them. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Like, people be holding on to shit. Like,
so you guys, I gotta do a little bit of a disclaimer, right? So me and Eugene work together outside of doing this podcast. So I'm trying to stay professional and stop laughing so much because he's so silly. So I'm just saying, no, you're good. So I'm just giving my little bit of disclaimer if I'm a little different, because I'm almost like, what's he gonna say? Because he's wrong, y'all. He's wrong.
Well, see, you know, you my referee, and you make sure everything is, you know, you got it where I'm able to talk to these people out here. You know what I'm saying? So, if I'm out of pocket, or I say something crazy, just go like this, or
you're good. You're good. I mean, it's for adult viewers, so you know, it's
okay. Well, fuck it then. What we talking about there? Y'all shit, I'm about to get one of these cigars there from Richard Bitches there. The playing there. I'm thinking the baby's watching. Shit.
So listen, I want you to tell us about, so Eugene is doing some awesome things in the community, you guys. So not just in the event of the coloring book that's given us a different viewpoint on how to stop the violence, not just the game that you can play that is actually extremely fun. I really wish I had one here so I could show you guys. They are fun. It is fun, right? So he also is volunteering his time to go into the detention centers and speak to some young kids, some young boys. It's boys, right? Just boys.
They're killers. Say what it is. Say what it is. These are killers. These are the kids that everybody throw away at the juvenile detention center. I got them from 17 to 22. Okay. And let me tell you something. everybody there looking at some time. You know, everybody there. But what I do is I go there and I'm there 3 days out the week, and I have my proposal made by Miss Hogan right there. So if everybody out there trying to get y'all business proposal and everything done, please get at her. But that's shameless plug. We'll get at that later. But anyway, she made it where I was able to be able to go with those people and work down at the Juvenile Detention Center. But I have 3 different pods, and basically they're misguided. They want to be heard. There's a lot of guards there that treat them wrong. You know, they're going through a lot. And all of them, I would have to say, you know, the person that's doing the least time there is maybe 6 or 10 years. Everybody else doing 30 and up. You know what I'm saying? And my job is to well, I bring them to art and everything, but I also want them to tap into whatever it is that they do. You know, and I try to tell them that, you know, you're not gonna be in there forever. But while you're in there, you know, make some kind of time yourself. I try to speak to them like how they supposed to be talked to. You know, I don't sugarcoat shit with them. I tell them, hey, listen, all right, you know your ass is, you know, you're little as hell. So what you need to do all this time is get your weight up, do your push-ups, and you know what I'm saying, stop calling at home so much and quit worrying about that girl that's already cheating on your ass. And I tell them everything else that they need to know so they can do their time. And when you come out, don't be in jail, because jail can make you a better criminal for real. And I try to tell them, you know, you don't want to come out and be a better criminal. You want to come out, you know, doing a 180. You want to be a lot better. So I, you know, show them how to have a little polish about themselves, you know, keep their hair cut, you know, everything.
And
just doing my part.
And part of that is the mental health portion. Because if you are in a space that makes you feel like you're potentially nothing, then how do you grow from nothing to something if someone's not feeding you something, right? So, you know, and I'm not talking about I used to work at a prison. I'm not talking about the food in the cafeteria. I'm talking about mentally feeding them something. Letting them know that even though you made mistakes, even though you did some stuff, you still are a person. You still can make the change, whether it's you're making a change to do a lifetime bid in the prison or you're making the change to eventually get out. Whatever you're making the change for, you can make a change. And it's not to stay where you were at. And someone's got to care in order for that to happen.
Yeah, and I do. And I also tell them, I'm like, hey, listen, I tell them, hey, I once upon a time was a loser too. I done been in there a few times. But I also tell them too. Well, no, well, see, I'll tell you like this. The first time it was a mistake because they caught me, but the second time I was a loser because I could have maneuvered a little better. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not trying to say everybody that go to jail is losers, but I'm saying that if you keep going back to recidivism, you either a loser or you got a man in there. It's one or the other. I ain't had no man in there. So
or you don't know another way.
We'll say that. But come on, man. I think people know another way. I think what people is that people are addicted. Some people are addicted to losing, and a lot of people are addicted to, well, not addicted to losing, but no, addicted to losing. And some try to find a way to win. See, my problem in my life is that I always try to find a way to win. You know, I sold dope for maybe like a couple of summers, and then that shit played out until something else came along. Then when I did that, I kept doing stuff. It didn't until maybe like a year or two before I met you that I really wanted to be something in life. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand when, you know, you don't have that blueprint. You don't know what it is you really want to do. You know, and I look at those young men, and I see me in them, because you know it's like it's hard to try to be something, but you don't know what it is. Or it's hard, like a lot of these young men, you know, they got to take care of their mama and they got kids. You know what I'm saying? And that shit's horrible. And it's like I just try to be that big dude, that grandfather figure. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of get to me because when I talk to them and I tell them I love them, and you know these young dudes don't even know me that's in there for a long time. And they like, hey man, we love you too, granddad. And I'm like. You know, and it's like, you know, like I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't get this old for nothing. You dig what I'm saying? Because it was once upon a time I thought I was gonna be a young statistic and end up dead. You know what I'm saying? And fuck the world and fucked around. I ended up getting old as hell, and I was like, well, damn. Now I'm here. Now I ain't got no choice but to pass the word in the game down. You know what I'm saying? I don't even lie no more. That's crazy. I don't even lie anymore. I used to lie back in the day, April. I don't even lie no more. That shit crazy. I ain't never think I'd be like this. But I'm here. For real, I don't even tell people to ask me nothing personal. I fuck around and tell the real shit.
Well, you just told all the viewers. So if y'all want to know something,
ask me, and don't be mad at me because I tell you the fucking truth.
But it is good though. It is good, and again, and that's where I go back to. Not saying. So first of all, let's just make it apparent we're having technical difficulties.
Y'all know I got this phone. I'm propping it up. Mine is a professional as yours. I got to hang it up on a damn salt shaker and shit.
Let's all make this clear first, right? We all know that each and every one of us can be in a similar situation, if not number one, for not getting caught, by the grace of God, or someone who cared enough to show us different or cover up for us or for something, right? Not saying that we've all killed somebody, because no, I've never, that's not the case. But we all have, ain't none of us clean. Like, ain't none of our slates clean. We can't throw the first stone because none of us are without sin. So I want to put that out there first. But I will say, and this is the reason I said I don't want to say loser, right? Because depending on circumstances, now some people just do stuff. Some people are in situations where they don't necessarily need to do it. They just want to be whatever they want to be, and they do stuff. But you do have those people who grew up in a situation that wasn't necessarily giving. So if you grow up and, you don't have a mama and a dad who are able to help you. So, I've literally been in boys and girls clubs where you have a 7-year-old who is getting up every morning to wake up their little brother and their little sister to get them to school so they can go to school. They have no food at home. They get to school. They have the limited amount of time that they have to eat them nasty school lunches. Then afterwards, they go to the Boys and Girls Club. They may have a person there that actually cares, and they may not. And then they got to go home and do it all over again. They're getting bad grades because they don't know how to do the work. The teacher thinks it's not their job to actually assist each person. And then the parents aren't there or don't feel like it's their job. You know what I'm saying? So there are those people who started there, and then as they got older, it didn't get better. It just continued to get worse. There are all those people who have those situations that they're literally just trying to get out of that situation. They don't have guidance. They don't have Eugene to come in and say, I love you, dude. They don't have that type of thing. So that's where I say, like, there are situations that maybe they were kind of set up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now.
Right, but you know what, though? But look, let me say this, not to stop you from it. When you said about a little 7-year-old, that made me think about this one little kid I seen, right? Little 10-year-old. Little 10-year-old was on the block selling weed, And my whole thing is that, we got to stop. Real talk. We really got to stop. We got to put the past behind us. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff I touch on, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if we really can talk about it all right here, right now. But it's just, I try to come with a solution. You know what I'm saying? I even try to tell people to quit having kids. And not to stop having kids, but damn, if you got 3 or 4 of them already, just worry about the ones you got. Don't quit trying to get new kids. Because see, a lot of times what happens is you'll have kids with somebody, and then later in life, you'll be in a position that you're comfortable, and then you'll have a child with that person, and then you kind of lightweight forget about your old kids. Or you don't really think that your other kids is really looking at you, going, well, damn, like you putting all your effort in your new relationship or your new baby, but damn, you forgot about us.
Well, and we can tie that more than just the parents, because sometimes there's some people who come out of some good households that still have some messed up mind frames, and that's society. You got the rappers telling us that, teaching that that's what it's about. Like my idol, is telling me that it's all about sex, drugs, and big houses and getting money. And that's who I listen to. So, and I see what his life looks like just on TV. I mean, I don't get to see the real of what his life looks like, but what I see looks look luxurious. So
right.
that's
That's why you need that male figure or that somebody in your life to tell them the difference between fantasy, fiction, and reality. See, a lot of people, they worship the rapper or the musician or whatever because they have something to offer them. Like you look at TV and you see a rapper and they got all the jewelry and they got all the money. You like, well, damn, what is it that I got to do to be like them? Getting back to the subject. My whole thing is that people got to learn how to love themselves, but they got to find something about themselves to love. You know what I'm saying? But what I tell people like this is that, they say the apple don't fall far from the tree. But I tell them, well, sometimes if the tree is on the hill, maybe. Because you could be the total opposite. You dig what I'm saying?
It's your choice to do that. It's your choice to be different. Okay, so we got a couple of things that's about to happen that I want everyone to kind of pay attention to. So on Instagram, you guys are going to start seeing some comics going up. So The Bear That Cares is not the only character that Eugene writes about. It has a whole lot of different characters, of course, all inspired by The Bear That Cares, but a bunch of characters, a bunch of their own stories. So what's going to start happening is you'll start seeing partial comics on The Bear That Cares Instagram page. Now, the thing is, you only get part of it because in order to see the rest of the comic, you'll go to thebearthatcares.net, which is The Bear That Cares website. This is where you'll get to see all the stories, anything that's new that's coming up about The Bear That Cares. You can purchase your coloring books. You can purchase the game. When I tell you guys this game is so much fun. Like, this game is so much fun. So actually tell us about the inspiration behind the game, because you started the game prior to us even talking about it. Like, I just don't want anyone to think like, oh, like she helped him with the, no, you already had your complete concept of the game.
Oh, okay. So look, y'all, this coming out of my mouth, okay? Miss Hogan, April Hogan, my partner in crime, she took my little idea that I had and she freaked it. She did one of these moves to the motherfucker. And I promise you, she made it where it is just wonderful. When I first came to her with it, my shit was on a cardboard box. Okay? Dollar store dice, fake little money that I drew on and other little bullshit pieces. Okay? I'm telling you, she took my little welfare pieces and made it look beautiful. You understand? Like I said, everything that I had, everything that I wanted to do, I've been wanting to do this for maybe like 15, 20 years. You understand? But I never had the time to really sit down and really focus on it. The thing is that when I came with that idea, and I'm just assuming, Miss April just going, yeah, all right, I'll do whatever. Boom. Boom. Everything I came with her, bam, she had it done. Sent it right to me. And like I said, now I'm able to work with the Juvenile Detention Center. I have a proposal to them and everything. I'm able to speak to different places, all because Miss April made it possible for me to be able to bring my stuff professionally to everybody. Because if not, I look like it's an old ass man just walking around with a whole bunch of bullshit things on paper.
So this is a battle we have all the time because I keep telling him it's his vision. Like, so I didn't come with him with a game and say, ooh, you should do this game. He already knew what the game was going to look like. He already knew what the concept of the game. So I want you to tell them about the game.
Okay. So what it is, the game is called Cold City. Right. And the game starts off at home where the grandmother basically has a whole house full of grown ass people. And the job and the whole thing is she gives money to all the children, and the last person that moves home is the winner. And on each corner you have the police, but you also have cards that you land on. That's chance and choice, 411, and also the come up. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now these cards, It's basically showing a chance of choice, making good decisions, bad decisions. What's the outcome? 411 is Black history, as well as learning Spanish. It's learning different other things that you had dropped out of school or your GED expired. You can learn on this game. And then on each board, it also has where you're going to lose money on each space. You're going to lose money. Basically, the board game is just a way of life. So from being a deadbeat baby daddy to paying child support to even a bum alert, it's all of that on this game. Now, and once again, I'm about to give her flowers. I used to go to people and I used to show them this game when it was on my cardboard, and people looked at me and laughed at me. They looked at me and said, "Yeah, we see why you got a mental illness. Yeah, you'd be good. This would be good for something else or whatever." And and I just kept the faith. Everybody out there, let me tell you something. If you believe in something, I promise you, if you believe it and you see it, man, that shit gonna come. I know people be talking about, oh, believing God. I ain't never believing that. I just be like, man, go on that hocus pocus bullshit. I don't want to hear it, man. If you ain't got the money, get the fuck out of my face. But I'm telling y'all, if you got a vision and you believe in it, man, God will put people in your way to make it. So all I'm saying is that I know she don't want to get the props, whatever, because she done saved a whole other bunch of people's lives out there. I know people watching this show right now talking about, she saved me too. She saved me too, Mr. Sopher. She saved me too. But my whole thing is that, hey, I've been around this earth a long goddamn time. And I've been around some real people, and I've been around some fake motherfuckers. So when I run across the real, I gotta let the world know this is my God duty to tell them that. So, hey, my game, that's my game. But I'm telling y'all, if y'all want to get my game, you go to my website and get it. Yeah, it was my idea, but I'm telling you, she took my vision and made it good. Why do you think I'm looking how I am now? She's a referee over my career. If I ain't have her in my corner, trust me, I'd still be somewhere in the apartment somewhere doing my 1-2, but not doing this.
So I want you guys to understand this is a board game. So it's like how often do you see someone that you physically know has a board game? It's easy to get a game on the internet because everybody can do that. He has a board game. I'm talking about a legit board game. Yes.
3 dice. All my New Yorkers out there is like CeeLo, y'all. The 3 dice.
I'm gonna have pictures up. I'm gonna have pictures up so you guys will be able to see. It's a legit Monopoly like board game, right? With the dice, the pieces, the money, the everything. And when I tell you,
and the goal is to take Monopoly out the conclusion. We get Monopoly out of there. Monopoly they've been bullshit. They've been getting niggas locked up. Monopoly been getting niggas locked up out here. So
I can't gonna take that hard, bro. I don't know about that. I just know that this game is fun, you guys. It's fun, and it literally is. So, and one thing, for instance, he said chance or choice. Just like in life, you're gonna have a decision to make, and you can either make the right decision or the wrong decision. But just like in life, sometimes you can make the bad decision and it pay off. Sometimes you can make the good decision and it not pay off. So you really gotta when you're playing this game, it's like a game of what it's really like, and it is so much fun. It is so much fun. So I wanted to go ahead and just make sure everybody know you got to check out thebearthatcares.net. When you go to thebearthatcares.net, you'll be able to connect on Instagram as well. Go ahead and follow. Stay up on what's going on with the Bear That Cares, because when I tell you it's about to be a lot of things happening, especially moving into 2024, because we need this kind of motivation. We need this kind of someone to advocate for stopping the violence and preventing violence in all neighborhoods, not just the hood, but in all neighborhoods. And this is what Eugene is doing. So, Eugene, do you have any final words?
Only thing I say is love yourself so you can love others too.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you for coming and speaking with me. Of course, I want to say I look forward, I want to have you on again because you already know we talk all the time. So Thank you for coming and joining us. You guys make sure you follow on Instagram. Make sure you check out the website, thebearthatcares.net. Again, the coloring book is there. You can get the game there. I have pictures of the game so you guys can see what type of game it is when I tell you it's fun, you guys. So, again, thank you, Eugene. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Peace.